My name is Rafael, you're watching Record Garage, and today I'm going to show you 5 albums that the legendary Uriah Heep guitarist Mick Box said are some of his favorites of all time. But first, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. Well, back in 2020, I had the chance to interview Mick Box. At the time, I was not doing videos yet, so it was a written interview. And I asked him to list for me his 5 favorite albums of all time. However, Mick said that he couldn't make that decision, but he could say his 5 favorite albums of the day, because he said, I am a Gemini, so what I tell you today will change tomorrow, and to pin down just 5 favorite albums is simply impossible. Rather than that, put myself through that pain, I would be happier if it had Mick's favorite albums of the day. So I can't say these are his 5 favorite albums of all time, but it's some of his most favorite albums of all time. So let's start. The first one that he told me he really likes is Roger Waters' solo album, Amused to Death. And this is what he said. This is a thought-provoking and emotional album that has my favorite guitarist, Jeff Beck, playing on it. Some parts are so moving and it really gets you thinking. And for sure, you cannot just play one track. You have to play the whole album from top to bottom to enjoy the whole flavor of it all. Marvelous, well-crafted songs. So this is what Mick Box said about Roger Waters' Amused to Death. And we move to the second one that he mentioned it, and, well, he already praised Jeff Beck on the first one. And the second one is Jeff Beck's Truth, Jeff Beck's debut solo album. And this is what he said. This album turned me on to the wah-wah guitar pedal, as Jeff made the guitar talk and grow like I had never heard before, as he played one on this album. Rod Stewart is on vocals, and he has never sung better and is really in the groove. Ronnie Wood is on bass guitar, Mickey Waller on drums, and Nicky Hopkins on the piano. Released in 1969, it was mind-blowing at the time in the box Hose Out, followed in 1970 with Beck taking the whole thing a step further. So this is what he said about his favorite guitarist, the late legendary Jeff Beck, who sadly left us back in 2023. The third album that Mick Box told me he really liked was Graham Nash, Songs for Beginners. Graham Nash was previously a member of the Hollies, and then obviously, as you probably know, he was a member of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Besides being an incredible solo artist, and this is one of his solo albums. And it was a small description of this album that Mick gave me, and he said, a simplistic, minimal album with great songwriting and great storytelling. So this is what Mick said about Graham Nash's album, Song for Beginners. And the fourth one that he mentioned was, curiously, there's a connection between Graham and this next album, because it's a Neil Young album. It was, for a while, Graham's bandmate on CSN. And it is Neil Young's Harvest. And this is what he said about Neil Young's Harvest. Brilliant songs delivered with great feel, great lyrics, and played on acoustic guitar, coupled with banjo and the occasional harmonica. My go-to album to chill. Neil followed this with the equally brilliant After the Gold Rush. So Uriah Heep's Mick Box is a big fan of Neil Young as well. And the final one, if you're expecting a heavier band, a heavier album, you got it. The fifth one that he mentioned was Deep Purple in Rock. The album that changed it all for Deep Purple. They became really a hard rock band with that album. And this is what he said. A magnificent, pure classic rock album. It has all the ingredients coupled with the amazing guitar playing of Ritchie Blackmore, who is a long-time favorite of mine. Excitement aplenty, and the fantastic John Lord on Hammond, the Hammond organ, the great feel of Ian Pacey on drums, and dynamic vocals of Ian Gillan. along with the rocksteady bass playing of Roger Glover. They were on top of their game with this album, so it has become a firm favorite of mine. So this is what Mick Box said about Deep Purple in rock, and these are some of the albums that Mick Box loves. If you don't know Uriah Heep or you never heard of them, I mean, they're a superb band. They're one of the most incredible bands that, started to release albums in the 70s. If you like progressive rock, if you like hard rock, go check them out. Listen to all their albums with David Bowie, and also their albums post David Bowie, who are really hidden gems. There are a lot of great songs, and Mick Box is, for me, one of the most underrated guitarists of all time. And that's it. I hope you liked the video. If you want to read more, go to the description. You can read the article we wrote about this interview with Mick. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, tell me if you like Uriah Heep or not, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and I see you later.